Where's he going to be? Where's Saquon Barkley playing football in 2024? The odds makers will tell you that it's going to be the Houston Texans. I will tell you that I think the Houston Texans are the best landing spot. I've said that for months now. And it looks like Vegas agrees, because if you look at this Fox Sports odds sheet here, Texans minus 200, Chargers plus 275, Cowboys 550, Giants 550, Bears 900. Bears, that's crazy. How the Ravens not above the Bears? This is an interesting little topic, though, because it will obviously change the landscape for Josh Jacobs and for Derrick Henry. I do believe he is the top running back, though, by far. If we look at the running back board, the Barkley board, and we say to ourselves, like, who's going to be the most hot commodity? Henry's going to be exciting for Dallas, but I do believe the first domino to fall will be Barkley. And when we take a look at this report right here, this coming from an ESPN reporter, Barkley got what he wanted. He's now able to go test the market, but will he get what he wants? Sources expect a new deal to come around $10 million a year. And this was him not wanting $13-14 million a year last season. It's going to be crazy. The running back market, this is the biggest, strongest free agent running back market we've seen, some say, ever. And the top running backs projected to get $10 million per year. The Fantasy Football Show begins now.
Live from the FantasyFootballShow.com studios. It's the Fantasy Football Show. Live! Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern. Smitty is also live whenever
from
news
the
breaks.
FantasyFootballShow.com news desk. Here is your breaking news.
So we're here discussing a topic we've touched on quite a bit over the last handful of weeks and really months. But this topic is going to grow. Some will say tiresome, and some will say I like the smoke. And I'm one of those people that I don't really get tired of much. I think I don't mind coming in, and as long as it's new information and everything I have right in front of you is new information. This is not like it's a regurgitation of let's go over the 4 or 5 landing spots. We're certainly going to cover those landing spots, discuss them, show them, hit the Barkley board button, and continue to kind of beat a dead horse on some of the angles of this thing. But this is all new, content. This is all new reports. These are new odds. These are new insinuations. And the Fox Sports report, the betting odds for this being minus 200 for the Texans. Not saying that predicts a whole bunch, but it does let you know where the people are, what the people are thinking, and what when those lines open up, this is where people are rushing to. And so a lot of times we talk about Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. Remember that show? When you ask the audience, it's usually the best way to go about your polling some bigger group of people that might know collectively more than you do. But also the odds makers, their job is to get enough people on both sides of the fence. And so it's really just to make on that rake and not anything other than that. That Vegas doesn't have a skin in the game necessarily on what side of that wins. It's mainly the people driving that money line and everything into a territory where there's equal people on both sides. I think this is the part that is the most concerning, is Barkley's going out to find out what he can get. He's being let free. The New York Giants ownership said, "Go ahead. We're setting you free. Go check it out."
You raise me up so I can stand on mountains.
Come back and tell us what you get. We'll maybe up it. We'll maybe give you what you want. He seems to kind of want to stay in New York according to what he said, but hopefully it's just a bunch of talk. Because if this man, Saquon Barkley, would rather stay in New York at the same money than go, let's say, to Houston because he's comfortable in New York, he doesn't want to leave New York, he doesn't have a good business mind. And I'm not saying that he doesn't have one. I'm saying if he stays in New York, he does not know what's good for him. And if I was his agent, I would say, what in the hell are you talking about? Because there's no future for him here in New York. You could say, like, the Giants end up drafting, an amazing running quarterback at 6. Let's say Penix Jr. or Bo Nix. I like it. I do, but it could take time. Without wide receivers, it might very well take the Giants some time to get this thing going, and Barkley doesn't have that time. Ziggy, how old is Saquon Barkley? He doesn't have it.
Saquon Barkley is 27 years old and was born on February 7th, 1997.
27. And if you remember correctly, your boys told you this 100 times. 28 years old is the hold your breath, hope he doesn't get hurt. Hopefully he could deliver one more elite season. That means that you can't count on Saquon Barkley having anything but 2 more elite years left. You just can't. You could hope for it. You might get it. You might get 29. You might get, but this is also a very injury-prone running back. You know, and this is a horrible thing to say, and I'm not wishing injury upon him. I hope you guys all know that. You know me by now. But this is the type of running back that I could see a season-ending injury happening in the next 2 years because he's so aggressive with his body. He's like Rob Gronkowski meets George Kittle meets something else that's reckless. You know, Cam Akers is very reckless with his body. I told everyone Cam Akers was going to get injured time and time and time again. He wouldn't get injured once. He continuously get injured because of how reckless he is with his body. Barkley's, I love him. And in 2024, I'm going to be drafting Barkley like crazy. On Underdog Fantasy promo code Smitty, I'm drafting this guy over and over in the second round. The second round kind of becomes, that territory of where the dried up running back zone starts to rear its ugly head. And guys, hit the link right here. I'm going to drop the link, Underdog Fantasy promo code Smitty. Here is the link. Hit it. Do it live. We'll be drafting on Underdog Fantasy all the time, in the coming weeks and months, just drafting teams. You got to say to yourself, like, this is the kind of, like, these Achilles injuries are worrying me more than they ever have. They're kind of like the new ACL. Remember, everybody started tearing ACLs left and right. Just everybody was having them. It seems like these injuries kind of come in waves. This is the kind of player that I could see, the way he explodes, the way he's damaged his body. The thing about Achilles tears is you don't know they're coming. You're not doing any sort of preventive imaging on it, and you really could. And I predicted that the NFL takes some preemptive step toward Achilles if they keep happening to say, hey, let's take a look at everyone's Achilles. It's very expensive, but preventative maintenance on seeing who's in a risky territory. Some say that if you looked at Hargrave's Achilles right before he stepped off and launched, you would have saw that it was vulnerable and hanging on there. And I just think that you're maybe going to see teams look at Achilles injuries this way. But I would say, because that is not in place, because we have no clue, we have to look at players that have, and I'm not saying you start planning for Achilles injuries. I'm not saying that, but if there was ever a player that is going to have some sort of injury like that, it would probably be Barkley on the running back level, just because he's been littered with injuries. He's constantly coming off the field injured. You think his season's done 2-3 times a year on some sort of injury, breaking his elbow, tearing something, going to the sideline. And so I just feel like, you have to keep that in mind. But does that change the fact that I'm drafting him like clockwork in 2024 redraft leagues? No, I'm drafting him. I'm taking him in the second round. I love Barkley and even the risk involved and the risk that I'm talking about for 1 year. Do I like him in Dynasty? No, I do not. Do I recommend any of you hang on to him if he does get, signed by the Texans, let's say, and he's got tremendous value, and you could go get an H-hand straight up, do it. You can go get a wide receiver because you're pretty good at running back. You can go across position and get some sort of wide receiver that we really, really like. You could maybe trade a future first rounder and Barkley to go get a top 3 or 4 or 5 wide receiver in Dynasty that's young. It's just getting going. I totally am on board for that kind of maneuver. I think in Dynasty, he's a stay away. In Dynasty, he's a sell. You might want to wait until he gets into a situation where his value gets an uptick. But this guy playing past 2 years of elite, uninterrupted football, you'll be lucky to get the one. In redraft, I love him. Does everybody understand what I'm trying to say here? Redraft, love him. Redraft, take the gamble. Dynasty, I really worry about this guy. I really worry that he would be the next Achilles victim because of the compensation. How do you get an Achilles tear? It's not an exact science. There's no real warning signs. They're kind of freak injuries. But one thing I do know that you'll probably hear over time is collectively it will be from players that they're older typically. They're not always older, but they take a lot of abuse to their body. They have a lot of compensation involved, and you're putting a lot of strain on the Achilles. If you tear a patellar tendon, a lot of people say you can't predict a patellar tendon tear. Oh, I beg to differ. If you're somebody that doesn't have good quad strength, if you're somebody that uses and compensates for having a stronger knee down, so calves, not quads, and you run, land, and jump differently to compensate for that, you are very much more likely to tear your patellar tendon and snap that puppy. There are a lot of different things involved in the muscle structure of a player that puts them more vulnerable to this, that, and the other. Saquon Barkley is a player that puts himself in a lot of vulnerable positions because he goes 110 miles per hour. When a running back hits the back of his own offensive line before he's even got room to move, it's kind of like leaping before you look. That's how he runs. No one's saying it's bad. It's a great characteristic if you're trying to say, hey, give me a guy with heart. Give me a guy that can get me 150 yards and a touchdown any given game. That is this man. And dare I say, we have no idea what his upside really is. We have zero clue. He could be the number 1 overall running back in 2024 if he gets into a great offense. We've seen him waste away in New York. It almost feels like, what would Barry have done? Barry Sanders have done if he got into that Dallas offense or did something somewhere else. He kept playing in this restricted offense and he kept popping them off. I venture to say he needed that crowded box because once he danced and got away from it, there was nobody in the backfield to bring him down. Sometimes I think it was to his advantage in some ways, but it's the same kind of thing. Like Barkley, how good could Barkley be? Barkley, if he's healthy, would be an absolute monster. Barkley, if he's healthy, I think could be a 15 touchdown, 2,000-yard running back. Barkley could rush for 2,000 yards in 2024 if he went to Houston and they fed him. Barkley could be a 1,800 rushing yard running back in Dallas with 14, 15 rushing touchdowns. It certainly could be the case. That's why I love Barkley redraft. Understand? Follow me, Bob. I'm confused. Smitty, do you like him? Do you not like him? Let me summarize. I love him in redraft. Take the gamble. Do it live. Second round. Probably a second round running back savior. Go wide receiver in round 1. Worried about your running backs in round 2? Don't worry. Guess who's there? Saquon Barkley, second round monsters waiting for you. Dynasty, get rid of him. He's 27 years old. Next year will be his 28-year-old season, and that's your hold your breath season. And when you're holding your breath with a player that has the injury history and likelihood of injury as Barkley, you're playing with fire. You're not getting 4 or 5 elite years out of this guy going forward. You're getting 1, maybe 2 if you're lucky, but count on 1, and then a solid year, then it gets injury riddled. That's the way I look at Barkley. Do not expect more than the 2 years, or you could be sadly mistaken and upset and inward looking angry. An angry Angus. Don't become an Angus. Don't become a petrified Peter. Don't become a regretful Roger. I'm telling you right now, the formula is Barkley 2024. Do it live. Smitty approved.
You've just been Smitty.
Barkley dynasty value.
You've just been Smitty disapproved.
It is what it is, Bob. It is what it is. Phone lines are open.
Call into the show. Call into the show.
Dial in. Appreciate everybody being here. You guys absolutely rock. You guys make the show. Without you, your boy would not be here. Without you, your boy would not have the best job in the whole wide world. And I can't thank you all enough for all that you do. Barkley is going to be phenomenal for a majority of next season in Houston. He could be running back 1, 2, or 3 in Houston. I don't think people understand how good Barkley could be in Houston. I don't think they do. I don't think they realize that this guy is so electric. And if he could stay healthy in Houston for 3 or 4 years, he'd be freaking unbelievable. I just think you got to go and roll with it for 1 year. And if you do play with fire and you roll through a whole year with Barkley, you could consider selling him at the end of the year in hopes that, somebody's not looking at his age being 28 years old. The problem that you have, though, is look at the track record of running back that has failed at 28 or dropped off at 28. Aaron Jones couldn't stay healthy at 28 last season. That was Aaron Jones' 28-year-old season. Austin Eckler was probably one of the highest touted running backs going into 2023. That was his 28-year-old season. And he completely fell apart and fell off the face of the earth. Christian McCaffrey's walking into his 28-year-old season. If he fails, if he gets banged up and injured and can't stay on the field, you can kiss goodbye any value you have for any 28-year-old running back, because if Christian McCaffrey ends up falling victim to the injury bug or the 28-year-old curse that takes down almost everybody but Derrick Henry, you are going to have a tough time selling 28 years old as an RB to anybody. To anybody. Would Houston want Barkley over Devin Singletary? Of course they would. Do they want to pay him over Devin Singletary? Maybe, maybe not. But what I do know is that Barkley's only going to cost about double what Singletary costs, because we've got the pricing points right here, and I don't know that they'll be exact. It does say probably slightly above, but $10 million a year is the running back range. No one's paying running backs. Nobody. Houston will bring in Devin Singletary again for a much cheaper cost if Barkley's demand is $20 million. They're not going to sign him. But Barkley's going to be set in his place. He's going to know, at some point he's not going to be oblivious to the fact that he can ask for 13, 14. We'll see if he gets it. Obviously, a lot of it could be too, when you're talking about the franchise tag was different, right? Or an adjusted 1 year off of a franchise tag situation, which is what Josh Jacobs and those guys endured. Barkley endured that. Barkley went into a franchise tag situation, was very upset, and then they did a 1 year adjusted deal. They can do that, but what you do get in a 2 to 3 year deal, 4 year deal, let's say Barkley signs a 4 year contract, 3 year contract, team friendly. They can get out of it after a year or two, not 3, a year or 2. It's going to be very team friendly. And you just give him a nice big signing bonus. He gets $12 million a year. You give him, $10 million up front, whatever it ends up being. And now he's making, in his mind, $20 million in 2024, or $18 million, or 17 or 15, whatever it is. It's going to be a signing bonus, something at signing that is going to make it different. So if we say, oh, Smitty, what about, he's going to make the same amount of money. Technically, he might make less money than the franchise tag last year, but he'll get the bonus on top of it. So he will be getting quite a bit of cash. So Mad Reagan says, signing up for the lifetime membership, what's the video course, if you don't mind me asking? That will be a series of different categories of video course training. How to trade out of the 1 pick, how to trade into the 1 pick, negotiation, trade 101, how to size up your trading partner, best draft approach, running back draft strategy, all those things. So it should be like close to 50 to 100 videos in there by the time the season starts. Some of them which will carry over to the next year. Others will be dated with player examples that I'll have to redo each year or come up with different updates to them. But definitely the video course is you're going to love it, bro. It's going to be awesome, especially when it comes to, and you can sort by category. And he's talking about thefantasyfootballshow.com. You can sort by category. We got articles. We got trade calculator, bold prediction, video courses. You can sort the video courses by category: trade, negotiation, draft, sleepers, how to attack this, how to attack that. Appreciate you, Mad. We hope to see you signing up for that, my good man. Appreciate you. Let me see if I have any celebratory messages here. We got one from JCIM. He's celebrating 12 months on the memberships. He says, hoping the Bills have something big planned. That's awesome. I do also feel that way. They're cleaning house on the defensive side of the football. Thomas celebrates 12 months as well. Best content out there. Thank you, Thomas. Appreciate that. Let me see if I have any other. Thomas says you missed the. Well, I didn't miss him. I just got him. There you go, Thomas. Perp says Smitty missed the 12-month membership from Thomas and JCM. That's ironic. those came in. Well, I did get him. I don't always get them right away, so it's not that I miss them. I just don't attack those exactly when I see them. I try to get to them, but I need to start looking for them. I'll start keeping my eyes peeled to hit those at the top whenever I see them. I'll start treating those like actual super chats. I'm sorry about that. That's on me. Mad Reagan, appreciate you. Hope you join the exclusive membership. Appreciate you. And DeBalt just dropped one, I think, as well. He celebrates 6 months of the memberships. He says still on the JF1 to Atlanta. Maybe I think it's certainly in the cards, absolutely. But I don't know. I mean, I don't know who's going to end up in Atlanta. All I know is it's going to be either Fields, it's either going to be Cousins, one of the two rookies, Bo Nix and Penix Jr., or Russell Wilson. I feel like it has to be one of those, and I feel like Atlanta is going to be aggressive enough and has suffered enough, and Blank is worried enough that one of those things is happening. And Zach Robinson is good enough to make sure he's getting a good quarterback and not, bringing in some scrub or something. You know what I'm saying? So definitely feel like that's, definitely in the cards. Perps, appreciate you. Perps to the moon. DeBalt, yep. Thoughts on Ty Chandler and Chase Brown? Ty Chandler, I don't know. Kind of not really thinking much about Ty Chandler, to be honest, until we get to a point where he feels like he's, someone that we can talk about. I think Spears would be another example of a player on that kind of spectrum that feels much more locked in, but he could also see competition. We don't know. KF45 says, Smitty, your content helped me win 2 championships last season. Thank you, pal. Appreciate you. Your content, your comments, and your thumbs up help me grow the channel, KF. So the pleasure is all on this side of the fence, pal. Appreciate you. One season left, especially if he changes teams. Kenobi Barks has 1 season left. Yeah, I think that you can only count on 1 season left. And Perps is right, and changing teams is never an easy task. It's harder for wide receivers than it is running backs traditionally, but I mean, there is some potential, downside there. But at the end of the day, I think Barkley blows up his first year changing teams. But it's I agree with Perps. It's like that's the only thing you can count on. As I started off on my open, you cannot count on anything but 1 year. Could he give you 2? He could. Just like McCaffrey might give you 28 years, a continuation of elite play in 2024 at the age of 28. Christian McCaffrey could, but it is not a lock. He is 28 years old. Barkley's playing at 27 right now. We are not guaranteed anything during Barkley's 28-year-old season. Not to mention, Barkley is one of the more injury-prone running backs, as I mentioned. Part of it is the way he plays. He plays like Rob Gronkowski and George Kittle combined. And so he's going to put his body in extremely vulnerable positions. So he would be the least likely running back of a handful of guys we were looking at to say, hey, these are all studs. I think they all could play one more elite year at 28. He falls very much in line of the class that would play elite while he was on the field, but he's going to miss time. Think Cooper Kupp. Cooper Kupp, the fall-off year for wide receivers, the hold your breath year, is 30. You turn 30, you play at 30, you may do it, you may not. You're holding your breath, hence why I say that. You're holding your breath that they make it through the year. Cooper Kupp not only played elite football, when he was on the field, like, you still kind of almost feel like he could do it at 31 too. The problem is he couldn't stay on the field. Alvin Kamara played elite football at 28 years old this year, but he couldn't stay, I'm sorry, I didn't mean Alvin Kamara. I meant to say Alvin Kamara started off the year suspended, slowed down at the end of the year. Aaron Jones is what I was trying to say. Aaron Jones played elite football. He started off the year on fire, but Aaron Jones couldn't stay on the field. When Aaron Jones came back, he played good again. Like, I think that Barkley could be Aaron Jones. Barkley could be that type of player that I don't think he drops off. I think he just can't stay healthy. There are 2 different ways of decline at 28 years old. Kamara, I do believe, won't probably do it this year fully. He might have some spots here and there. DeBalt is live. What's up, DeBalt?
going on, Smitty?
What's going on?
So, yeah, I agree with you with Barks. He does have an injury plague history. And I'm always going to kind of be more in on Big Ten players. But I remember seeing him in Penn State. Boy, has it. When he came into the league, he unfortunately played for a team that never had an O-line, never had a quarterback, never really had even number one receiver, so it's kind of all on him. If he does go to the Texans, he's going to be their fourth option. You know, you're going to have, third. You're going to have Nico, Tank, Barkley, and then Schultz. So instead of him having to take the lead, he can relax a bit. So I think that may help his longevity. But I definitely agree with you. He is risky.
I don't know if I'll call him the fourth option though. Number one, Singletary did great there, and I know you're not saying he'd do bad in Houston, but I think when people hear you say fourth option, they're like, "What fourth? I don't want my player being fourth option." He's not the fourth option. I don't think you can equate the ability that he's going to bring to the table and the reliance on the run as he's a fourth. I don't think you can say fourth option when you're cross position like that. Like, there's a certain amount of plays that are going to be running. There's a certain amount of plays that are going to be passing. I think if this is a receiver, you could start saying Tank Dell, Nico Collins, Schultz. You got a fourth option here. You could maybe say fourth receiving option, but they use Singletary a ton. I think at most, or at worst case scenario, he's tied for their second best weapon. I think that, Tank Dell and Nico, one of those guys will probably, some will say it's going to be Nico, some will say it be Tank, be the lead dog there, the CeeDee Lamb of the crew, the guy that just, has all the explosion and ability to be an elite wide receiver one. They could rotate too. It could be a rotational thing where it's like they were at the beginning of the year and all through the middle of the year. Tank Dell, Nico, Tank Dell, Nico. Regardless how you want to say that's going to happen, that's one wide receiver dominating probably as the main weapon. But I don't think the other one is going to overpower Barkley. I think Barkley gets so much work that I wouldn't view it that way. I do agree with you that the weapons there give him room to run that he's never seen before in his life. The quarterback support he gets in Houston gives him, a defense focused not on him for the first time in his life. Like, you have a defense going, what's Stroud going to do? I can't worry about Barkley right now. Where's Tank Dell and Nico going to be? Can't worry about Barkley right now. Barkley's going to rip off more yards per carry than he ever has. Barkley's going to be phenomenal if he can stay healthy. That's why Barkley's a absolute 100% smash. Draft him, 1,000% draft him in 2024 in the second round. I don't know that he stays in that ADP territory, though. If he goes to Houston, the buzz will be high. Everybody will be hot to trot to go get him. I still think he's very much worth a top of round 2 pick. But Barkley is a locked and loaded, Smitty approved, second drafted player, 2024, absolute no-brainer, smash home run. And you're taking on a little risk, but I don't care about the risk. Dynasty, I'm out. It's that simple. He's 27 years old. He's about to play his last season, and then he goes into his next season, his 28-year-old season, which is not guaranteed at 28 years old. I don't want to hear, 28's not old for a running back. You don't know the numbers then. This is this is like rocket science 101. 28 years old is the drop-off age for most RBs, and you're lucky if you drop a great season. Do not use Derrick Henry. He's an alien. Wide receivers, it is 30. You can do it at 31 maybe if you're super special. You're DeAndre Hopkins. I think DeAndre Hopkins. Ziggy, how old is DeAndre Hopkins? Is he turning 32?
DeAndre Hopkins is 31 years old and was born on June 6, 1990.
Okay, he's turning 32. Ziggy, off. He's turning 32. Look, this is the way I feel about DeAndre Hopkins. he's kind of like Derrick Henry in a way to me, if I was to try and find and pinpoint a Derrick Henry, but I can almost guarantee you I will expect missing 4, 5, 6 games, so he does fall into he's going to crap the bed on some level. But I love Hopkins for the amount of time that he's playing for you. Think best ball. You don't have to make the decisions, right? The games he goes off, he's in your lineup automatically. The games he gets injured in the middle of the game or doesn't play well or whatever, then whatever. And where he goes, it determines everything, because he could be a cap casualty. If he's not, then Levis is going to be sporadic, and Hopkins will be like he was last year. Hot, cold, and then hurt. But if he goes somewhere like KC, Buffalo, a handful of different places, who the hell knows where he goes and how high he can climb.
Casey'd be nice with D-Hop. Give him a chance to get a ring, and that'd be nice. But with what I'm trying to say with Barkley is he's going to go from being the number one focal point in the offense, where defense is focused on him, to no longer having to be. They're going to have to worry about Stroud throwing to Nico, Stroud throwing to Tank, some Schultz. Like, he's going to have a lot of opportunity. Yeah. So I'm not too sure if that's going to actually help him last a little bit more. He's not going to have so much on him like he usually has. Again, that's all hearsay, but I really enjoy it. The second end of that spectrum is, who else would you like in Houston over, like, say, for instance, Barkley don't go there? Well, who would you be your other free agent running back right now?
Well, I mean, the board we keep pulling up, I mean, either it's Jacobs, Henry, or Barkley. Or they bring back Singletary if these three guys are like, we're signing for $18 million a year, or we're not signing anywhere, and Houston's going to go, okay, well, you're not going to get that, but we're not going to wait around for you to experience that realization. So good luck to you. Mm-hmm. And then Singletary, hey, Singletary, you want to play for $150? Okay, come on over. Come back. Yeah. Come back, son. And then he might even come back anyway. Like, who knows, even with Barkley there. But
yep.
But again, just to preface, because I already saw, who was it, Montez? What was it? Jose Montez or whatever. I already saw. I knew someone wouldn't understand what I'm saying. I knew it. Montez or whoever it was. I'll recap it for you in one sentence with a comma and a run-on sentence. Ready? Here it is. Barkley's 27 years old. I know that, Montez. I've only been saying it for 32 minutes and 18 seconds. He's 27 years old. And he's a no-brainer elite smash. Draft him, second-round monster 2024 redraft. Montez? Because this is what he's saying here. Comma. 28 really is the kiss of death for running backs. I got Dalvin. Yes, it is. But you were saying earlier, where's his message? Wait, Smitty, wait. Wait! Call the show up, Panic!
Alert.
Stop the show!
Alert.
Stop the
Panic
show!
Mode.
Smitty, wait. We don't have to worry. He won't be 28 till 2024. I know, Montez! I've only been saying it for 33 minutes and 9 seconds. Once he turns 28 next year, it's panic mode because he's an often injured player going into his hold your breath year. So he's a trade in Dynasty. He's a Smitty approved redraft player without hesitation. I love him in 2024, Montez. You hear that? And then in Dynasty, you get rid of him now.
Yeah.
Let me go over to Travis.
Would you consider him in Dynasty real quick? As you're making a run for the chip this year. Would he be someone you'd be aiming at?
No, because like I said, I want to get rid of him. I guess if nobody, like, if you had him and nobody's giving you what you deserve, you just let the wheels fall off. But I mean, it depends. It depends. Is there a world where I could trade for him, and with the expectation that he craps the bed for me in 2025 at the age of 28? Sure. Like if I could give somebody a handful of second round picks for him, which is not going to happen, then yeah. But people aren't going to be sniffing his decline yet. That will be next offseason where you can get him for a couple second rounders. Right now, people are going to be like, no way. Especially if he gets, as soon as he signs somewhere, bro, he's like, He's the hot commodity. Everybody's talking about him. I know dynasty circles are smarter than that. They know he's 27 years old. But, like, you're not getting him for dirt cheap. Like, give me an example. I'll tell you yes or no on 3 different examples. Give me 3 different examples.
Well, it would be a big trade for me if I was going for a chip that year and I needed
Like what? Give me 3 examples and I'll tell you yes or no real quickly on all 3 of them.
I'll trade you my third this year and my fourth next year for Barkley.
Rookie picks?
That's what I'm gonna offer.
Rookie picks?
Yeah.
You're not gonna get that. Of course I would do that. You know, to win a championship,
exactly.
but no one's giving you Barkley for a 3rd and 4th rounder. They're gonna be like, "What are you talking about? This guy's about to sign with the Houston Texans. You're gonna ruin relationships over that offer." I would give up
exactly
3 second round. I would give up 5 second rounders. You know, like there's no limit to the second rounders I would give up. The limit would be that I can't trade, 2028 picks. They just limit me. I would trade every second rounder I could get my hands on because I could care less about that to get Barkley. So 3rd and 4th rounders is not a chance in hell. All right, hold on. Travis, you're live.
Yeah.
Hello?
With Barkley, I really have no hesitation on next year, like you were saying. I'd even push back on the injury-prone thing a bit. I know he's been banged up a little, but he's played at least 13 games, all but, I think, 1 year in his career. And the year he came off the ACL, he was a little rusty. And then, if you remember, he twisted his ankle stepping backwards over a lineman's foot. So, like, he had that one section of his career where he blew his knee out and then twisted his ankle, but he's been healthy. He's just been on a bad team.
Yeah, but if you've owned him, and I'm sure you have, but he's constantly getting hurt, and he's playing and he's skating
He's been
by.
frustrated.
The play before he tore his ACL, he almost broke his elbow. He literally dislocated his elbow. The play before he tore his ACL, and then on top of that,
It's been frustrating for sure.
Yeah, he's somehow, some way playing. Like last year, there's a season-ending scare. At least 2 of them. I remember one of them were like, "Oh God, here Barkley gets hurt again." And the one way he's kind of injury prone is if he has one more, everybody's out. That's how you've worn your welcome in the health department with people. Is if he has one more big significant injury, no one will trust him for anything. They'll be like, "I'm done with him." Everybody loved Cooper Kupp and Eckler, and then it just took one sequence of events, like Cooper Kupp. He's toast, even though he played really well. He played really well at times last year. I know he's a little hit and miss even after he came back, but he had some elite games, and people are like, I'm done with him. So I think that's how he's been banged up a lot, even if he has, to your point, put together, like on paper, X number of games per year, minus the ACL year. I'll also say that go ahead.
I guess just over the last 2 years, I think he's earned a little leeway. I know he's been frustrating, but I mean, he's played and he's put up good numbers the past 2 years, even on a terrible team. So I guess just off of that, I give him a little bit of a
not for me. I respect
than I would have.
I respect it, but not for me. Just because 28 years old is the year for everybody. So the guy that feels like he's still got some injury concern is not the guy I'm banking on to push through that 28-year-old season the entire way. So I guess that's where my pushback would be. My pushback would be that if he was 26, 27, and I was saying he's going to get hurt earlier than normal, that would be something I would be like, okay, yeah, that is a little crazy, I guess. But when we're talking about 28 being very lucky to get through the 28-year-old season.
After the season, though. Yeah, I'm talking about just this season.
Yeah, but I again, the whole show has been Barkley's a smash home run 2024 pick. So this conversation that we're having now is about 2028 or 28 years old, 2025. If he's 28 years old, every running back in the National Football League, you have to sit down and go, can they do it or not? Because this is not a guaranteed year. It's a hold your breath year, and I just think that even if we're going to push back on his ability to get hurt or not get hurt, maybe shaking free that label or not, every running back is susceptible to complete, fall off, drop off injuries at 28. So I don't take him out for there's nothing he's earned in my mind to take him out of that 28-year-old 2025 season. But I think I can't be any more clear, and I know people are not going to hear me because there's already been several times that I'm all in 2024 redraft. All in. Because he's a second rounder right now. I think on Underdog Fantasy, promo code Smitty. Again, guys, hit that link. I'm going to drop the link in the live chat right now. The link's in the description of every video. We'll be doing all kinds of live drafts throughout the entirety of the offseason. But if I go to the ADP rankings for our Bs right now on Underdog, you're going to see Saquon Barkley at 23.4 overall, running back.
Yep.
8. 23. You're talking about the bookend picks, essentially. You could get JJ at, 2 or 3, Barkley at the tail end of round 2, and then, get a Jalen Hurts, or, you could have such a balanced team of Barkley, Hurts, and JJ, or something along those lines. Or let's say you go, I don't even know what wide receivers would be there in the top of round 3 at around 36 overall. Or I'm sorry, 24, 25, 26 overall. I would say Dell's there. Olave, Diggs, Debo. Rasheed Rice is going way too high. Rasheed Rice is not even in that conversation. You can't get Rasheed Rice at the end of the second round. I'm sorry, but I'm out on that. I love Rasheed Rice. I do, but he costs me a 2.2 or 2.4 pick. I just can't get on. I can't get behind that. I like him, but that's crazy.
Yeah. Well, especially not knowing that if they could bring in someone else, and it could change a lot.
Yeah, I mean, what if they bring in Hopkins? What if they draft another? Yeah. And same thing with Olave, or I'm sorry, with Nico. He's going at 16 overall.
Yeah,
and that's a little later than he was going on about a month ago. I think he was going like at 2.2, 2.3, 2. God, 16 overall. Like I like Nico a lot, but give me Tank Dell all day long. Give me Tank Dell at like 30. Give me Tank Dell at 30, and give me Achane where people are drafting Nico, or give me Barkley. I'll take Barkley a little bit early where people are drafting Nico. Give me Tank Dell later. And I like Nico, I do, but I'm not drafting him. This is like with Jalen Waddle last year. I couldn't understand it for the life of me, why people would take Waddle at 13 and 14 overall. It was madness to me. I feel like it's very similar.
Yeah, it is.
Perps, hold on one second. I just missed Perps' super chat a few minutes ago. Perps, I'm sorry, bro. Shaking my head. Wipe your feet at the door. 100 live and only 50 thumbs up. We need to do better. We have 85 to 100 eyeballs popping in and out of here, and only 60 thumbs up. Perps is not happy dropping his 20 watt.
Alert. Super chat alert.
$20 super chat. $20 super chat.
Alert.
All right, go ahead. Sorry, Perps, about the delay on that. Go ahead, Travis, and then I'll go back to DeBalt.
The ball. That's who was on the line. So what he was saying about just the fact of having other talent around him, that it's going to allow, as long as he stays healthy, which we believe he will for this year, it's going to allow him to operate more like, we expected him to be able to operate coming out of college as the second overall pick or a first round draft pick, where he's got talent around him. There's going to be so much more space open for him, so many more options for him to get the ball in successful positions.
Efficiency.
Yeah, exactly.
He's going to have efficiency like no other. It's going to be like, it's kind of like I say about Bijan. You put Fields in the or anybody, Cousins, Fields, Penix Jr., Bo Nix, Russell Wilson. You put anybody in Atlanta, Now all of a sudden, you've got, this vertical threat. You got Kyle Pitts in play now. It's really even more so with Fields, though, because he runs and you got to shadow him and spy him. But, that's why Khalil Herbert, he's a good running back for sure, but he led the league in yards per carry 2 years ago because Fields just leaves these wide open, rushing lanes for the RB. No one's going to be able to concentrate on Bijan the way they need to all year long. If they bring Fields in, Bijan is going to rip off 5.6 yards per carry. And I truly believe Barkley could easily be above 5. Easily be above 5 in Houston. There's just too many weapons to look around at. And, I think to what DeBolt said, that's a good thing, obviously. But I don't think he's a diminished fourth option, though. I don't look at it like that because the run game, he's option number 1. And really, you can only look at it like if you back it up even further from that and say big picture, there's 2 options, run, pass. And Bijan's in charge of the run, so he's really, you could say, the second option in a worst case scenario because he's getting, such a hefty workload. Doesn't matter, Maybe, and Ziggy, how many receptions did Devin Singletary have in 2023?
In the 2023 season, Devin Singletary had 30 receptions for 193 yards for the Houston Texans.
Ziggy off. And he kind of, he wasn't like the guy all year necessarily. It was like, I think that we could easily see Barkley with like 70 receptions, 65, 70 receptions, probably about 400 receiving yards, 390 to 400, probably 2 or 3 receiving touchdowns to go along with 10 plus rushing, 13, 14 total. Something along the lines of 1,800, 1,700, 1,800, 1,900 total yards in a very, very worst case scenario.
Motion detected at the front door.
As long as he's healthy. Ziggy, show me the front door.
Yeah.
Who's this?
Okay.
Who's this? Don't they know we're live right now? What's going on here? I always wonder. What's going on there? What's going on there? Who's that? Is that an Amazon driver? What's that? This guy walking away? What's he doing? What's he doing? What's he doing? Stay away from that vehicle. We'll keep an eye on him. Stay alert, Zig.
You're gonna have to set the
Zig,
boss when we're not outside.
Yeah, Zigmeister, stay alert.
Intruders.
Keep that picture up. What's he doing? Oh, it's the mailman. I zoomed in. He's singing. Ziggy off. I judge, man. Mailman comes like at random times though, but I'm always judging the mailman. I'm thinking the worst of the mailman. Perps gifting 20 memberships. Perps to the moon. Let's go.
Alert.
Let's go.
Super chat alert.
Perps has initiated Operation Briefcase. I think whenever you drop $20 and you also drop a 20 gifted memberships, the briefcase is coming out. So Perps has activated Operation Briefcase. Appreciate you.
Alert. Super chat alert. Alert.
Everybody thank Perps for dropping one of those. Go ahead, Travis. What were you saying?
I got to jump in a minute, but I wanted to ask, I missed a little at the beginning of the show, so maybe you hit it. They say the Bengals are expected to cut Mixon. If they do they become one of these teams for a running back, or are they kind of just in the mix and you don't think they'll go after one of these?
For sure, but logic does not always rear its beautiful head. You got to say to yourself, free agent running back board. There we go. You got to say to yourself, okay, well, if they're not willing to bring back Mixon, who knows the offense, and they're not willing to bring him back because he's older, then do they really want to play around with an Eckler or Henry situation?
Mm-hmm.
So then it's like Barkley, Jacobs, maybe. They also really like Chase Brown, and
Right.
they could
I'd love
pair
to see him
him.
get a shot.
They could pair him with another Chase Brown type in the draft, and then say we'll take our chances that we'll
Right.
find that talent. They could also bring in a Singletary. They could also bring in, AJ Dillon to go with Chase Brown, like a kind of thunder and lightning
Right.
approach. Gus Edwards is going to be kind of valued by people, and then Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Keep in mind, Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow has gone on record, and you can say he's wrong. Joe Burrow's not wrong about everything. He's probably wrong with this statement, but I'm just trying to emphasize how much he loves Clyde and how much he'll have pull to bring Clyde in. But Joe Burrow was able to get Jamar Chase drafted onto his team.
Right.
Joe Burrow is most likely going to, I think, lobby for Clyde Edwards-Helaire to be brought in. And keep in mind, Joe Burrow said that he was the best player in college football. And he said he was better than any player he's ever played with at the college level. Like maybe Clyde's not there anymore. Maybe Clyde didn't translate properly. Maybe Clyde's been underutilized. Like who the hell knows? But all we know is that Joe Burrow said these things. He's played with both Bosa brothers. Like he's played with everybody. Like Burrow played with so many NFL, especially on the defensive side of the football, and he said he was the best player he'd ever stepped on a field with, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, in college football. So, again, right or wrong, doesn't matter. Just the fact that he loves him that much would make me think that Clyde becomes a conversation.
Detected at the front door.
Is the mailman back? What's going on?
Right.
Ziggy, show me the front door. What's going on here?
Okay.
What's going on here?
Man,
Is this another Amazon
man,
delivery?
man, man.
I have a lot of deliveries going on. Sometimes Miss Smitty's out there doing her thing. That looks like what's this person doing? Don't you love it how, like, when you park in front of someone's house, you say something like, this isn't your street, bro. Relax. But then when someone else parks in front of your house, it's like, what are you doing? Why are you there? State your business. You can't park there. Why? Ziggy off. You can't park. That's my street. All right. Anything else, Travis?
I'm gonna jump. Do you think? Last thing I'll ask is, do you think Mixon was he good because he just knew the system and fit in Cincinnati, or do you think he goes somewhere and plays well, or does he just go somewhere and screw up a backfield for fantasy potentially?
I mean, he's.
I'll get off. I'll listen to you because I gotta jump, but I'll listen to you. Thanks for the.
Yeah,
Bye.
Ziggy, how old is Joe Mixon? He's 28 or 29. I think he just played his 28
Joe
season.
Mixon will be 32 years.
Oh
and
my
6 months
God!
old on January 1st, 2029.
32. Ziggy off. Good God. I didn't know he was that old. He kind of slipped in there. That's crazy. He kind of defies some of the 28-year-old stuff, but he can't. Is he really? Is Ziggy off? Ziggy's got to be off on that. I hate when Ziggy makes me look the fool. 27 years old. What is wrong with Ziggy? He's 27. I knew it. I was right from the beginning. 32 years old. I was like, what? Ziggy, you're worthless. Ziggy, you're fired. Ziggy, you make me look like a fool when I rely upon you for stats and data, and you give me 32 years old?
Didn't quite get that. Say that again.
Ziggy, shut down for the day. Go take a break. I mean, really, he's 27 years old. So this is exactly what I said before Ziggy really threw me off. He's 27 years old. He'll turn 28. So this is, like I first said, his 28-year-old season. This is the drop-off year. This is the hold-your-breath year. This is the year that Mixon is going to maybe do what Eckler did, what Aaron Jones did, what Christian McCaffrey may or may not do. Mixon, 32 years old. You like how confident he was, too? Let's ask him one more time. Ziggy, how old is Joe Mixon?
Joe Mixon is 27 years
Oh,
old.
now-
On July 24th, 1990.
Ziggy off. Now he's 27 years old. Now he's 27 years old when your job's on the line. How inconsistent can you be? I'm glad that was caught on video. I'm glad we saw Ziggy double talking. Ziggy, you're a double talking assistant, bro.
Sorry, I'm not sure about that.
Ziggy, can you belch? Ziggy,
Welcome to Super Bowl.
Ziggy off.
With you.
He's worthless, bro. DeBalt, you're live. Final thoughts. 32.
Now just hoping just some of course, all smoke screens right now, but with all the Kirk Cousins news to Atlanta, now there's news out there saying, well, JF1 to the Minnesota, since they're kind of out on Cousins out on Minnesota. I don't know. I don't know if you heard anything like that. It's just, oh my God, it's just with these two guys, it's a rat race.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, there's nothing but smoke right now, so no one knows. But I would say, Cousins will probably set the tone. Barkley will probably set the tone. Later, Silver Rapture out of here. Smitty, my dog, later, mofos. Are you out of here? We'll see you later, pal. Why are you going, Silver? Why are you leaving so soon? I think once Cousins finds his home, then we'll see a quick reaction. Once we see Barkley find his home, we'll see Derrick Henry be the next, or Jacobs be the next best option. I think that those are the two hot commodity players. I don't know that I know why, though. Like, Kirk Cousins is not, in my opinion, better than Fields. I'd rather have Fields. Fields is younger. Fields is, I think, very undervalued. Fields was not utilized properly. I still feel Fields could be, a long-term option. I don't know what Kirk Cousins is going to look like coming off as a torn Achilles, We don't know if Kirk Cousins will have a compensation injury. You're a very, very, I don't want to say very likely, but you're susceptible to an Achilles tear with the other leg coming back from an Achilles tear, especially when you rush it, and these players rush it. They always rush it. They have to. Their job's on the line. These players come back from these injuries at what used to be an unthinkable pace because they had to get to their job, right? When I tore my ACL, and I tore my ACL years and years ago, but there was a protocol in place for the regular human. And the protocol was you couldn't even jog one time until you're 12 months recovered. If you had surgery, you were told you could not jog, even run once until 12 months has passed, so that new ACL would grow in and be firm, and there'd be healing done, enough healing for it to not ever pull out and slip out again or tear. These guys have been rushing from the beginning. Now they're coming back even sooner. This Achilles recovery, Achilles are a year injury, and they're squeezing these things into a quick box. And remember when Cam Akers came back, I said he was going to get injured again. He was going to tear the other Achilles. He was going to be out for the year. Cam Akers came back way too early, and I told everybody that he was going to cause irreparable damage that you couldn't identify or or even detect, and that it would hurt him later. He was going to be putting himself in a vulnerable position and not even knowing it, because he came back the same year he tore his Achilles tendon. He tore his Achilles tendon and came back and played the last couple of games. Played awful, had no explosion, did it all for nothing, put himself in a very vulnerable position, and then got injured again, and now he's done. He's done. He's gone. He's out. He's not coming back. So all these players, including Aaron Rodgers, that are rushing back from these injuries are very, very prone to a compensation injury. It's just the way.
I agree. I think
the way it is.
I think Kirk Cousins is way more riskier, just considering he got it during the season. We don't know what he's going to look like. You can't really gauge it. Oh, he was doing great in 2022. Yeah, he was, but at his age, as a quarterback, it's different than a running back, obviously. But
yeah,
it's going to carry a lot of flags, and he's going to ask for big money. So if he goes to Atlanta, they're going to throw money on him. He gets hurt, and what, they got Ritter again? Right back to that.
Yep. Yes, sir.
That's about it.
All right, DeBalt. We'll see you later, pal.
Appreciate you, Smitty.
The ball to the moon. That's wrong. I don't know if you're referring to me, Alexander, but you're talking to the best deep fake doctor on the planet when it comes to football. But I don't know if you're talking to somebody else. Ziggy, how old? Ziggy, how old are you?
Ziggy Marley is 55 years old.
Ziggy, off. He can't answer. He can't answer a single question. He's horrible. Ziggy, is it going to rain today?
It might rain tonight. There's a 54% chance at 5 a.m. Would you also like to check for rain tomorrow?
No, Ziggy. I don't think there's a cloud in the sky. Unbelievable. Anyway, Perps, appreciate you. Maybe this will help get more people. He was talking about his $20 hauler. Perps, thanks for dropping the $1.99, the 20 gifted memberships, the $19.99 hauler. You're absolute warrior. We appreciate you. Injury is irrelevant to that statue of Kirk. Thank you, Silver. Appreciate you being here. Birdman, 12-month membership. I'm sorry I kept this on screen, but I never answered it. Could New England trade Justin Fields? Could New England trade and snag MHJ? Trade for Justin Fields, you mean? Trade for Justin Fields and snag MHJ before Arizona. I mean, Birdman, I talk about this as the number one. You got to have been here. You got to have been here for that. I mean, I talk about this almost daily. It's okay. I'm not mad about it or anything, but like this is like my favorite formula, the blueprint of turning around Washington or New England. You trade for Justin Fields, you draft Marvin Harrison Jr. It's the only move. It's the best move New England could make. It's the best move that Washington can make. There's no better move. There's no better move for Washington or New England than to do that move. It's the blueprint. But will they do it? I doubt it. I doubt it. I really doubt it. Ziggy had a smoke break. He was lit. Alexander, I don't know, man. I don't know what's up with him. All I know is whenever I trust him and I don't double check it, it makes me look, like I got, it's like I got my pants down, It's just Ziggy's tough to rely upon. He's almost just got to back me up. Like when I know something. Like, let me give you an example. Christian McCaffrey's playing at 28 years old this season. Ziggy, how old is Christian McCaffrey? Only to back me up to double check my math. And there he is. He didn't even do it. Ziggy, what's 2 plus 2?
2 plus 2 equals 4.
See,
Want to try out multiplication?
No, Ziggy. Ziggy, no. So like that's when I can use them. I can't use them when I'm going for information I don't have, or I'm putting myself in a vulnerable position. He's not made for this business, Alexander. The problem is he's family, and I can't cut him loose. I stick with family. I stick by him, so he's not going anywhere, Alexander. But certainly can't rely upon him. Ziggy out here trying to play you, Smitty, says Hoosiers. He is, but
water me, Smitty Pra one say
Ziggy off. Ziggy off. Can't even say his name. I got to call him the Zigmeister so I don't trigger him. All right. I'm close to out of here. Any more phone calls? Dial in real quickly. We'll do speed round phone calls. Speed round 30-second calls only. I'm hanging up on you. You better ask your question in proper, speedy fashion.
Call into the show. Call into the show.
Dial in. Quick phone session. Do it live. Appreciate you. B-Men in the house. Or no, that's old. Maybe B-Men's here. B-Men, are you here? Bill the Tickler in the building. Matt O, appreciate you. Thomas, Hoosiers. Nissan, DeBalt. Travis, I think Travis stepped out. Great Scott's in the building. We should have a Ziggy speed question segment. Ziggy, who's better, Christian McCaffrey or Joe
I would
Mixon?
go with Christian McCaffrey. In his career, he has
Ziggy
rushed for
off.
6,000
I didn't even ask him, but maybe he knows. I mean, that was a good answer. Ziggy, who's better, Jahmyr Gibbs or Joe Mixon?
know that.
Ziggy, let me ask the question. Ziggy, who's better, Jahmyr Gibbs or Joe Mixon?
Better.
from OrlandoSentinel.com. If you need a few facts, Parcells...
Ziggy off. Ziggy off. Bill Parcells. What's he doing? Dawson, you're live. Turn the background sound off. I can hear the show. Appreciate you. What can I do for you?
How are we valuing Jalen Waddle?
Nowhere near where all of you valued him last year, which was a ridiculous second-round territory that he did not deserve or earn. Maybe a maybe a round 4. I don't know. Underdog Fantasy. Let me tell you where his ADP is. Underdog Fantasy promo code Smitty. Jalen Waddle is at 31 overall, wide receiver 22. And if I'm trying to give you an assessment of that ADP, whether I like it, so 31, that's right before you get to the round 4. I would say Devontae Smith is below him. I like Devontae Smith better. Drake London's below him. I like Drake London better. Malik Neighbors is below him. I think that's arguable. Mike Evans is right ahead of him, and him and DK Metcalf are the two receivers above him. I like those guys better. Tank Dell's ahead of him. I like Tank Dell better. Cooper Kupp is like 4 wide receiver spots below Waddle, and I kind of feel like I'd rather go running back where Waddle is and take Cooper Kupp. So basically what I'm telling you is I don't feel comfortable with 31 overall ADP value for Waddle. 31.5. I don't like it.
What about in Dynasty? Would you take the 106 or Waddle?
106. I don't think you're crazy to go either direction, but I believe I'm getting Brock Bowers, or is it a super flex?
Yeah.
Then yeah, because you're going to get Rome Odunze probably, bro. I'd take Rome Odunze probably in the top, I don't know. I'd take him in the second round in a Dynasty startup without a hesitation. I would nowhere near take Waddle there. I wouldn't take Waddle in the third round in the Dynasty startup. So, if you could get Rome Odunze or Bowers, smash. Or quarterback if you need it.
I don't think a quarterback would fall.
Well, if they don't, then you're getting Neighbors or Rome Odunze, or, yeah, you're getting one of them. That's a smash, bro. Over Waddle?
Okay.
Easy. I mean, let me give you put that in perspective. This is a redraft ADP. This is not Dynasty. And redraft ADP has Neighbors coming in at, and mind you, I like Odunze more than Neighbors, redraft and Dynasty. Not by a lot, but just that's how I feel. And Waddle and Neighbors are back-to-back on the ADP data, 31.5 and 33, but those are back-to-back. There's no wide receiver in between, and so that's redraft. So in redraft, people would rather have maybe Waddle, maybe Neighbors. It's divided. But in Dynasty, not even a question.
Okay.
All right, bro. Appreciate you later.
Yeah, see ya.
Thanks, Perps, for dropping another 10 gifted memberships. Perps to the freaking moon. Let's put Perps on Saturn.
To Saturn.
Saturn. Out in the stratosphere.
Liftoff of mission 3, 2, 1, 0.
Perps, appreciate you. Silver, appreciate you. Silver's out of here. He's going to get raptured out of the show for the moment, I guess. Appreciate you. I think that's all she wrote today, ladies and gentlemen. I think we're going to go get a small bit to eat. Maybe just a single slice somewhere. Slice of pie. Do it live. I gotta find better slices around my area. There's a couple okay places, but kind of grew tired of one of them, but I need a good place to get a good, good one single slice whenever I want. Perps is a monster. That's no doubt about it. That's the most factual thing said tonight. The Bolt Perps is a monster. He's an absolute moon man extraordinaire. We're sending him to Saturn. We're sending him to the moon, and we're giving Perps a standing ovation.
Mashed potatoes!
Yeah, buddy.
We protect Perps at all times. I'll see you all later. Appreciate you all. Thank you so much for dropping all your memberships, your celebratory questions. Let me see if there's any other ones. Celebrate. Superfish says Dolphins are a viable landing spot for free agents. For running backs, maybe. We hear it a lot. I don't know if I would be looking at it personally, but you never know. It would be kind of devastating in some ways, if Barkley landed in Miami, because the only way I wouldn't be is if Mostert were out, and then it's kind of like Mostert and Barkley keep the same role, etc. And then one more super chat came in. Perps with a $10 hauler, which gets a moonshot
To the moon.
and said super chat. It says get the El Prez one bite. Thank you, appreciate you. Get El Prez. He's talking about Barstool. What's his name? One bite. Everybody knows the rules. I'll go review it. I'll review it on my Instagram for you, Perps, and I'll definitely review the slice, and I'll say 8 bites. Everybody knows the rules. Here it is, and I'll review it. I do need to review the food that I do, because I do a lot of food, on my stories on IG. If nobody's watching me on IG, you're missing out. I go live on there randomly all the time with Raj and just alone doing fantasy questions. And I tell a story. My stories, the Instagram stories, I literally tell a story all day long on my stories. You just click on my face and literally my whole day is there. You're missing out on a ton of awesome content. Thank you, Perps. Appreciate all of you. Now get out of here.
Brees Hall is 8 foot tall. He will always answer the mother freaking call. Don't let him fall. In the third, don't stall. Just give Batman the freaking football.
He's Brees. He's Brees.
He does a hull of a job. A hull of a job. A hull of a job.
Brees Hall, please report to the moon. Get Brees.
Live Monday through Friday, every single Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern. Live whenever big news breaks. See you all later. Probably be on the Dynasty channel or Rumble tonight. We need to do the Rumble one. Gosh dang it, man. All right. Later, Great Scott. Later, Silver. Later, Perps. Later, Thomas. Thank you, Perps. Later, Mike. Later, Bill the Tickler. Later, Nissan. Later, Birdman. Later, Matt O. Later, Josh Montez. Later, Thomas. I said Superfish. Hoosiers. Who else? Who else up in the building constantly chatting in here? We got still 85 of you in here. Please punch that thumb up button on the way out the door. Oh, wait a minute. Don't forget to subscribe to the Fantasy Football Intern channel, and it's the Intern Show. If anybody doesn't know what that is, it's I've aired these already on. Let me put this right here. I've aired these already, these particular ones, but all new episodes are going to be on the new channel, and I'm dropping them one by one, and I'd appreciate if you guys would rewatch them and give them some views. But that's the link to my The Fantasy Football Show Intern Show. It's a sitcom. It's like The League meets something that got canceled. It's that good. Please go watch it. Please subscribe to my intern channel. It is a sitcom channel. There'll be probably about 6, 7, 8 episodes a year. Maybe more, maybe 10, depends. So please subscribe to that. Perps, you got a few seconds here, Perps, before I jump. What can I do for you, pal? Appreciate you by the way.
Show live on the screen where those are, because they're not all together. So if you click on the one intern deal, some people think it's only the one episode. You got to scroll up, remember?
Yeah, I'm gonna release them.
They're not in order.
I'm gonna release them one by one. I might even take them off the main channel so that I could release them one by one on the other channel. So the main place I want people to see him is on this channel anyway. So if people go to the Fantasy Football Intern, youtube.com/the Fantasy Football Intern, you'll see episode 1 sitting right there. Episode 2 I'll drop in a couple days. Episode 3 I'll drop. Episode 4, and then we're caught up. But I'm dropping them one at a time on this channel. So I want people to watch it here. But subscribe. It's brand new. We have more than 35 subscribers now. But when I first did this last night, we had nobody on it. It's going to be brand new. And the reason I'm doing it over here is because, you know, I don't think it's going to catch on embedded in the middle of all the other content. Not to mention YouTube doesn't push it because it's not the same kind of content. And it looks at it like a redheaded stepchild. It's like, what's this? I'm not shoving your users to this and then nobody knows it's there. But please subscribe to it. You're going to love this. It's like The League. If you like comedy, you like sitcoms, we're going to be building this thing up. And it gets better every episode. I mean, as the budget doesn't even increase. Just, you know, it gets better. All right, Perps, anything else? Any quick thoughts on Barkley? Any quick thoughts on Barkley real quick while I got you here? And then I'm going to jump and get some pizza pie.
Yeah, him and JF1 can come to Minnesota. Take them both here.
You imagine that? You know, I haven't really thought about. If Minnesota's going to get an RB.
They let Madison go.
Yeah, but he was garbage anyway. But
can't rely on Cam Akers.
Yeah,
he's garbage too.
I forget he's even in the league. Yeah,
Minnesota gave him money to come here.
That would be crazy if you had Fields and Barkley. Jeez, and JJ. God.
Mm-hmm. And Addison.
Yeah, and Addison. Hawkinson. I mean, let's keep going. That would be different. You get Fields and Barkley, all of a sudden the Minnesota Vikings are no longer paper tigers. They're not.
Nah, well, on paper we wouldn't be, but we'd be like every other Minnesota team. We'd let our fans down at the end. So
I don't think so with that team.
Well, I'd hope not.
Yeah.
Make Detroit look bad.
Yeah.
And they got a good team.
All right, Perps, appreciate you.
But no, I was just calling on the intern stuff because, like I said, when you look at it, it's on all.
Yeah, I agree with you, but the only thing is I'm going to try and make people watch it on because I want to.
Yeah, you do you. It's your.
I want them to see him over here when I drop him because so many people haven't seen him. It's going to be like a fresh drop and be like, oh, I've never seen this. Okay, and then I want this to grow. So I need everybody to go watch episode 1. It's up on the Fantasy Football Intern YouTube channel, youtube.com/the Fantasy Football Intern. The link is right here. I'm going to drop it one more time in the description or the live chat. Subscribe to it.
Yep, they're that good. I'm going to go watch Grant again.
That was not Costco. That was Costco. I was at I went to Best Buy, then I went to Costco. There are two different locations. Miss Smitty wanted pizza, so I went to Costco to get Miss Smitty pizza, and then I also went to Best Buy at the beginning. So go watch it again, and you'll see that I am in Costco. There's a guy playing the piano, and I'm like trying to walk through there in peace, and this guy's out there blaring at the top of his lungs. Goes there like every couple nights and just decides to play for 2 or 3 hours at the piano. All right. Perps, appreciate you.
All right.
Later.
Enjoy your pizza.
Yeah. Hey, thanks for all the gifted memberships. Everybody drop Perps an eggplant emoji, a thumb up emoji, a fire emoji. Let him know you appreciate him. So please drop a thank you to Perps. Perps to the moon.
Yeah, you're welcome. That's for you and the channel.
All right. Later, bro. Thanks.
Later.
Thomas, is Miss Smitty pregnant? No, this is a 3-year-old recording. Let's hope she's not. I can't do it again. Imagine telling somebody, no, this is a 3-year-old clip. You know how the movie biz is. You film something, it takes 2 or 3 years for it to come out. Come on. Get with it. All right, see you all later. Go watch it. Episode 1 is out. Please subscribe to the Fantasy Football Intern sitcom channel. It's right there. I just dropped it again. Subscribe. How many subscribers do we have? Let's go refresh and let's see. We've got how many subscribers? We've got, okay, we're at 50. It just started. I need you to hit it. And you to punch it. Video number 1 sitting right there for your liking. Go check it out. See you all later. Perps to the moon.